Truthout had asked for freedom of information requests from the Department of Homeland Security on this interesting story about how Stratfor, this private corporation, was tracking people and reporting to the government. And so they had been tracking Occupy Wall Street, etc. Michael Hastings had written about that for Rolling Stone. Michael Hastings then came on the Young Turks on the Current show and talked about it. Turns out Department of Homeland Security tracked that. And because of Truthout, we now have the internal emails of the Department of Homeland Security talking about the Young Turks.
Yeah, they say, right?
Yeah.
They said
How
Michael
awesome
Hastings was talking to Cenk.
Yeah.
First name basis.
Yeah, please.
Just Cenk.
Oh, DHS, how you doing, dog? Okay. Okay, so what they say is, well, you know, Cenk, you were claimed on the Young Turks, this is in the emails they're writing to one another, that, you know, that we're tracking Occupy Wall Street, but not tracking Tea Party. He's like, we're actually kind of tracking the Tea Party. That was the inference in the email, right? And then they watched the piece that Michael Hastings and I did together, the segment on Occupy, and the conclusion of the head of their spokespeople there is, oh, UGH in the emails.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Do we think that's the quality of the segment, or what? Who knows?
No, I mean, maybe like we're taking a serious PR hit.
Right.
Because that's the context of all the...
That's what it seemed like.
Right.
Yeah.
Of all the emails, and they're discussing whether they should reach out to Michael Hastings, but they're a little afraid of him. They're like, well, he is provocative. Like, in other words, he won't do as the government tells him to do. He's an actual journalist, right? So then they're scared of him. And a really interesting part of that story is...
By the way, good.
Yeah, great.
Yeah,
great, right? So they asked the White House at some point, and the White House gets back to them and says, wait to see if other press picks it up. If they do and you start to get more questions, then contact Michael Hastings to correct the story, okay, and give their interpretation of it, et cetera. But if other press doesn't pick it up, then just bury it.
Let it die.
Right. And you know what happened? And Michael Hastings was on the Current show today, and he said, I told my friends in the press, hey, this is a big story. It's, these are leaks that we got from WikiLeaks. And what the rest of the press say, oh, nothing new there, nothing new. No, WikiLeaks never gets credit for anything. No, nothing new. No, we already knew that the private corporations were working in tandem with our government to spy on us. Nothing new at all. And they didn't cover the story. And so the Department of Homeland Security goes from, ugh, to,
right.
And they're like, all right, thank God only Michael Hastings and the Young Turks covered it. We can now move on.